called Government, and they're just like, again, fast forward like 5 years deep into my, what I would say started as Dead Mouse. I had a few hits out, and then Facts in Berlin was such a big track, and Tong would play it in England, and then Government, of course, would say, "Oh, we booked Dead Mouse." And he was like, "Holy shit, Dead Mouse all the way from England?" Dude, I live like 4 blocks from that fucking venue. You know what I mean? And I'm going in there in the capacity of like some international fucking DJ. Just blew my fucking mind. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, "Wait, you're Canadian? Wait, you're from Toronto? Wait, you live right fucking there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude." It was really weird because I had played my music out. Again, this is all very condensed, but like, because everyone's got a story, it's always, life stories are really long, but I remember playing some of my music for Chris Lake, who is now and has been a huge fucking DJ out in the UK, and he would play it, and then Pete Tong, of all fucking people, would like hear it, and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck," and Pete Tong starts playing it on his show, and who's this? Dead Mouse. Color me intrigued. It's not DJ so and so. It's not Captain Awesome, or it was just like when you hear that Dead Mouse for the first fucking time, when it's, I'm not saying it's commonplace, but I just mean, imagine fucking. It's me explaining to the guy at customs now every time I go through the fucking states, and they're like, "Oh, okay, where are you going?" I mean, I have my visa and everything's fucking cool as fuck, but I go through sometimes, and it's like, maybe an older gentleman, and they're like, "Okay, what are you doing?" "Going to Nashville." "Oh, for what?" "I don't know, just gonna go play some music and stuff." You got no one." "Oh, cool, what band you in?" "Dead Mouse?" And he's like, "What the fuck?" Or "Oh yeah, my grandkids are big fans." Like,
damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that's what kind of caught Pete Tong. Well, that and the music maybe, but he was just like, "What is this weird head thing?" And cool, and then he reaches out, and kind of the rest just kind of steamrolls. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, not really.
But no, it's like you make your own luck. You kind of, you know what I mean? I say that, there are people as and by far more talented than me that just literally are just waiting for the thing, or or enjoy the solitude of their basement, or whatever. But I say, this is so luck. It is so fucking luck. This has absolutely so less to do with skill than in artistry and innovation. I mean, that of course helps it along the way, but what I always say is that if you want to make it, you know what I mean, or be whatever it is you want to be, you gotta just make your luck better. Like, add more tickets to the raffle every day. You know what I mean? And eventually, yeah, you're gonna hit. You know what I mean? But if you just throw one ticket in and there's 100,000 tickets in there, you gotta be pretty fucking lucky, and you very well may be, and that's cool too. But the more kind of tickets you throw in that pot, the better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you make noise here, you make noise there, you involve yourself in this kind of sector, all stuff you like, shit you're interested in. And sooner or later, those pieces are gonna kind of like connect like nonsense, Then you're in 2 places at once, you know what I mean? And then at some point it's gonna converge, and then someone's just gonna pick up on that, you know what I mean? And then that puts you in that position where you're like,
I totally understand what you're saying.
I'm not saying meet a lot of people and cling to fucking people better than you. I just mean apply yourself in like all these little fucking weird ass areas, and sooner or later, someone's gonna pick up on that and say, "Hey, this guy's doing shit."
I mean, it's to you, maybe that's luck. To me, that's dedication. That's getting it out there. That's having the courage to put something new out that nobody's ever heard, and be willing to face the critics, and you just kept going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
Whereas most people would just, "Oh man, people don't like it."
I tried it once, and it just wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Oh, dude, I tried it like 80 times, and it wasn't for me. Until I tried it 85 times, then it was for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, all the way back when you said you were putting your stuff out, it wasn't Reddit, but you were putting your stuff out in those forums. You know, just stuff that you had created.
.com, Bandcamp, you know, all that dumb shit. And I'm sure there's like one or two of them that really wouldn't have made the fucking difference whether I put it there or not. You know what I mean?
Do you remember the first? What would you call it? A track?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first track that you put out?
Oh yeah. It was called "I Don't Want No Other."
How was that?
It was me working with another guy. I used to work. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude! I skipped over like a lot of shit. But like, so I used to work in a record store, and I was just like in the rear with the gear. You know, like I'd hang out at the back and play on the computer and make noise. And they had turntables and DJ equipment back there because we also recorded a radio show for our local radio station stuff. So a lot of DJs would come in and out, and that was my big intro into electronic music, was working in that fucking record store because I met every fucking DJ that came through and bought records, you know, and it got a little friendly and cool and stuff like that. And I just got to it. I became known as the kid who knew how to use all the shit, like the computer to do the recording, the edit, and all that stuff. Of course, DJs knew how to DJ, but like I had to format it into a show and use the computer to do it. You know, so I would use like SoundForge and GoldWave and WaveLab and all these like archaic fucking editing suites to produce a radio show, insert commercials on. So I just became the nerd, you know, and that was really proponent to like, hey, call Joel, he'll, you know, come to your studio and hook you up with this or that, or you know.
When you put your first track out, how was it received? Did they butcher it? Did they crush your soul? Did they like it?
That was at a time like it was vinyl. There was no digital distribution happening anywhere. It was vinyl. There was a guy in Toronto who knew the DJ that I worked with on that song. There was a DJ Dread, right? He's kind of like a thing in Niagara Falls, but then would also go to Toronto and play sometimes too. And there was a guy, Austin Lawan, who worked Popular Records, well, like a sub-label of that called Awesome Records, and it's just like press it and give it to Eugene and play D record. He would sell it and stuff like that. So
I'm talking, Joe. I'm talking early days.
Yeah, it was pretty early.
Like Belgium. You had said that the owner of that company had noticed that you were putting stuff out, and like super early.
Oh yeah, no, that was earlier than that.
Me
working in the record store was way before Belgium.
No shit.
Yeah, that's me. I was skipping school to go to the record store downtown Queen Street. Like,
okay.
Yeah. This was like my first year in high school.
So you got.
Nyfikenheten för miljontals människor använder vinter. Vi anar lite för mycket saker som inte använder. Sälj sånt inte behöver till ett stort internationellt community. Ladda upp några minuter och sälj utan avgifter. Används den inte? Sälj den. Ladda ner Vinted.
Findus wokgrönsaker. Nu med förbättrade recept och ny design. Smak för livet. Utforska en exotisk ö. Smaka på en storstad. Eller upplev mer av Thailand. Tuvi. Allt som en resa kan vara.
You got positive recognition right off the bat.
Well, yeah, I guess. Not like, oh man, he's the bomb. Just know he's a fucking nerd and he's fucking doing shit on a computer and that's as far as it goes. Not, he's, hey, watch this space. Not that. Just.
Did it sound like anything that you're doing today?
Absolutely not. No, it's terrible. I can't listen to it. It just makes me fucking cringe. But I'm sure that if you were to maybe guise it to something else and send it to someone, they'd be like,
was there any critics? Was there a lot of
there's
criticism?
always critics.
Well, the reason I'm asking is I want to know how you got over it.
Over
the criticism.
Oh, I never got into it. Really?
No kidding.
No.
You just didn't give it any
You
time.
don't have time for that. Man, it's like those who can't, they just shouldn't. That's it. Like, yeah, I mean, dude, I get it all the time. I get it today. I got it last week. But it kind of it's like, to me it's empty because there's no substance to the criticism. Okay, so like, your set sucked. I'm sorry, like that just is literally not doing anything for me. It's not even hurting my feelings because A, you failed to quantify it. It sucked. How? You want to hurt my feelings? Fucking do it, bitch. Like, tell me what it was. And then when you really egg them on, and I remember, okay, all right, how did it suck? Well, okay, you gotta. Did I play a song you didn't like? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Was the audio bad? Did you have a bad time with your girlfriend? Like, I don't understand. Like, there's so many things in the universe that could make that suck for you and you alone. You know what I mean? But there's 50,000 of you out there, and I don't really give a shit about your bad fucking time. I don't give a shit about hearing about your bad time. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man, you gotta be kidding me. And then on the internet, multiply that by 1 billion, right? It's okay, or like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, or like critics, you know what I mean? It's just like, I am so unaffected by criticism, I think, and that's a really nice thing to develop.
Did you develop it, or did that just come natural?
I think naturally, just like I've always been really not really part of any need to fit into anything, you know what I mean? Like a group. And that showed really early, I think, for me in high school, because you had your goths and your jocks and your nerds, and I didn't really vibe with any of that. I would just go bump spokes from all of them, you know what I mean? And just I'd be there. Not saying I was bullied and I was an outcast and I cried in my locker every day, you know what I mean? I knew how to socially function, you know what I mean? You just kind of, you gotta get a bit of this and a bit of that sometimes, and flack from peers or people that are like, occupying the same space as you at that age, you know what I mean? Because I think everybody's still really bent on fitting in, and fitting in with that group that's most likely to succeed at being the fucking coolest, which is pretty petty, but like, that's high school in a nutshell, you know what I mean? I played fucking all sides of the war, you know what I mean? Like, I fucking...
Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Time to get real. If you have a family like I do, then you need to get term life insurance to protect them. It's one of the smartest financial decisions you can make. And the start of the new year is the perfect time to get it done so you can focus on whatever else the year has in store for you. Fabric by Gerber Life was designed by parents for parents to help you get a high-quality, surprisingly affordable term life insurance policy in less than 10 minutes. You could go to start from covered in less than 10 minutes with no health exam required. With over 1,800 five-star reviews, they're rated as excellent on Trustpilot. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/Sean. That's meetfabric.com/Sean. meetfabric.com/Sean. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's getting close to New Year's, and every New Year's we get obsessed with how we can change ourselves rather than just expand on everything that we're already doing right. Maybe you finally organized one part of your space and you want to tackle another. Or maybe you're taking your supplements every morning and now you want to actually eat breakfast too. Whatever your goals for the new year are, therapy helps you find your strengths so that you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule, even if you've added some new routines in there. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Why wait for a new year when you can celebrate you in the changes you've already made right now. Therapy from BetterHelp can get you there and help love you, love the journey, love this new year. Visit betterhelp.com/Sean today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com. All right, Joel, we're back from the break. We're getting ready to dive into you meeting Tommy Lee for the first time.
Okay. So Steve Duda, who's basically been there from the start, you should get him on the show, guys. He's crazy. Mad genius, really quiet hippie dude, long blonde hair, just
I'd love to get him.
yeah, he's awesome. So me and Steve, we met through that company in Belgium, and we were just like back and forth banner, some tech stuff in between and stuff. At some point, before the Dead Mouse stuff, I was like, we should just start a band and do some, the industrial stuff that we like. This isn't even dance music, and so many years go by, and then of course I was barred from the United States. Steve's like, I'll just fly up there. And I was like, oh, okay, perfect. Okay, and then we can hang out, we can just do whatever, right? And he's like, yeah, cool. So we showed up, and I was living in a basement apartment in Toronto at that time, and I was like, well, like, what do you want to do? Like, what kind of music should we do? It's like how do you start a band? Basically, it's like I guess you all have to agree on some kind of like style. I don't know the formula. I don't know how bands form. You know what I mean? But don't you think like they all sit down and go, okay, we're gonna sound like this? You know what I mean? Because you can't have like four different. You can't have well, maybe you can, but you can't have like a country folk dude and then a black metal guy and then and then they're like, well, how are we gonna make this all fit? So sort of thing. So I think we were both into that kind of early industrial kind of sound, like the Nine Inch Nails-y kind of stuff. So we did that for about 20 minutes. But then we realized we were doing our jobs, and that sucked because that's what Steve did, for other bands and stuff. Like he worked with Nine Inch Nails. He worked on The Fragile with them in New Orleans, and he was an engineer, and he played some violin on the album and stuff like that. So I think we both just realized, wow, we're doing shit like we do for other people, and this it's not really fun or creative. And we're like, yeah. So we just, kind of collectively sighed. And then for whatever reason, I said, we should do dance music. And then it was like, you know what I mean? Like a joke, literally a joke. And I was taking the piss. And then Steve got thinking, like, he's like, well, it's so fucking formulaic. Like, and I'm like, I know, right? And, so we're like, I don't know. It's like admitting you're going to do something but detesting it at the same time, because like honestly it's like as far as me and Steve were concerned, like dance music was kind of like the ass end of the joke of the pinnacle of where we were at with technology and music and stuff like that. Why dumb it down to a 4/4 20 BPM fucking thing with some boom boom boom, the same bass line over and over again? Like we're better than that, but let's do it anyway, right? Just as a joke, right? So we did. And this is no exaggeration. We produced 8 tracks in 8 days. Dance tracks, very palatable, pretty. What we thought that'll do, pig. There's some dance music, and I had befriended some people in the technology department out in Denver who started up a website that was brand new at the time called Beatport, and they were an early digital distro, but more oriented for DJs, so that DJs would have a place to go and buy digital music and serve it out. And they were kind of the kings at that time, the up and comers, because digitally, like, there was no Apple Music, it wasn't even invented or whatever. There was no real place. Like, DJs would go to record stores and get holds from the record shop owner if they're like a DJ and reservations and stuff like that. So getting music, Beatport made it more accessible because they were one of the first and probably the most renowned kind of source for where the digital DJ would get their music, right?
Okay.
So I ended up just like making up a record label out of fucking thin air and sending it to Tom Havens, who was working at Beatport at the time, and said, how do we release this? And he was like, oh, just do this, da da da. And so my IRC codes, and then it's pretty easy to do. And I was like, oh, okay. Do I need to like sign anything? He's like, no, just fucking send it, whatever. It's good. We'll do the accounting on it and all that stuff. I'm like, okay. And I shit you not, the BSOD tracks, which was our moniker, were on the charts as number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of the top 10.
Are you serious?
I shit you not. It was the weirdest fucking thing, and we're like, why is this working? And we're kind of laughing, right? Because we had no intention of doing this, right? Because we actually kind of ironically took the piss out of electronic music with a title track called "This Is the Hook," right? And it's this text-to-speech stuff describing about how the track should go because it was so formulaic. So it was like this computer voice that just basically said, okay, so first we're gonna add 16 bars of just a kick drum so the DJ can mix it in, right? Okay, it's so predictable. Okay, now comes in the bass line, and then the bass line comes in, and then it's like, now here's the breakdown. It syncopates, and it's like this text-to-speech shit that's just describing how formulaic it is, right? And then it was called "This Is the Hook" because then the hook was called "This Is the Hook," and it was like this guy saying "This is the hook," this is the hook, and then we were like, dude, this is the stupidest thing ever. And it was actually like number 1 on Beatport for like a hot minute. We're like, holy shit, this is funny. And then we started to see like our income come in from that. And we're like, we could just do dance music, dude. Like I know it's like kind of above our pay grade, but like let's just.
You gotta be shitting me. So you weren't even really into dance music.
Still kind of not. But that's another story. So it was a joke because we want to do this like industrial Aphex Twinny. Aphex Twin is this like avant-garde stuff, square pusher-esque, 9 Inch Nails kind of medley thing. Like just we had such grand visions of being the next not Inch Nails or whatever, you know what I mean? Because we were just so big, huge fans of Trent and Atticus and that whole camp, which we do. It's like, I mean, what better candidates would there be to create the next thing? It would be me and Steve, do this. And then instead we make like a joke 8-track dance album and it just fucking blows up. And then there's this huge DJ like Benny Benassi's, that Satisfaction song.
Yeah.
Benny's like, me and Steve, we printed our own t-shirts. This is how like fucking chop shop this is. When we go to Winter Music Conference, right, like in Miami, just it's like on a spectator level, you know what I mean? Like we're not going for meetings, we're not going for, like appointments or to sign autographs or fucking play any shows. We had no shows. We had one show just because of Steve's friend Jonathan Peters, who was playing at Space, and we got a slot from like 4 in the morning to 4:30, or something like that, right? So we went in that capacity, right?
Is this Ultra Music Festival?
Yeah,
Okay.
when Winter Music Conference was at the same time. So
Gotcha.
they used to always time those two events together. Like shit, half the industry's there, half the DJs are there. Let's just make it a conference thing too and give out some bullshit awards and talks and conferences but really it's just for like the dance music guys, agents and labels and DJs just go fucking party for like a week, then play a festival, get paid, everybody fucking cool. Who doesn't love Miami, right? So we decided to go to this thing, and this is like at the peak of WMC when it was like a really cool thing. So like the rally would be booked, and Pete Tong would have the rally, and the National was booked, and some Ajuna would have that, and all the labels, all the big swinging dicks, Tour Records and Ultra Music and all that stuff. So we go to this conference, and we're wearing our printed BSOD shirts, right? And walking down, I remember Collins Street, or no, when we were at the National, just like having lunch because we just managed to just blag our way into getting some passes to go into this like kind of private party thing. So we're sitting around at the table, and Benny Benassi walks by, and he's like freaking out, and like me and Steve, and we're like, what? I was like, yeah, so it's Benny Benassi. And I was like, he's like, oh cool. Like we're not freaking out, but I was just like, that's really weird. And Benny's like, oh, you guys are BSOD. And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I love This Is the Hook. And he's this nicest, wonderful Italian dude. We're like, holy shit, this is a Satisfaction guy, right? We're like, awesome, cool, man. He's like, yeah, no, I really like the song. And Benny Benassi's playing our shit. We're like, dude, this is so fucked up. Like, we fucked up because now we're a thing, and oh shit, you know, like, okay, cool. I'm like, hey man, yeah, cool. So we gave him some stuff, and he's like, yeah, you know, whenever you guys do music, you know, send it. I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. And then Chris Lake was, you know, a friend of ours too, and Chris Lake loved our stuff, and in hand, you know, Pete Tong kind of caught on to it again too, and all that stuff. And so it's like, we're like, what the fuck did we just do? Oops. And this is getting into the whole Tommy thing. So then BSOD is just kind of up and coming and stuff like that. But then we just kind of decided, Steve was just like, I don't want to be a superstar. I don't want to be a DJ. He doesn't. He really, honestly, truly doesn't. Like, he's just, he loves technology, loves programming. I don't necessarily want to be a big superstar. I love it too, but like, I like making music and stuff like that. Steve loves making tools that make music. He likes solving those kind of problems. I like solving creative problems. And ultimately, we just kind of just stopped with the BSOD stuff for like a hot minute, you know, and just like, and Steve is like, oh, I'm working on this new synth thing. Give me like 20 years and maybe I'll finish it, you know. I'm like, okay. But we still remained best of friends. It wasn't a breakup. It was just like, that was cool. We made some money and we know it works, you know. Okay, game on. Let's go do something else. And that's kind of when I forked off and did deadmau5 because I'm not just going to be bored while Steve's like fucking off being Steve, you know what I mean? I got to keep it moving, you know. So, you know, all good. All's well that ends well. So that's when I started deadmau5 stuff after that. And then he was like, oh, it's the guy from BSOD, he's the guy that did Facts in Berlin. And then I say, dude, okay, cool, let's put a mouse head on and throw him on every fucking festival. Fine. Then Steve was gone to LA on business through, because he still worked for Avid. He was an operator for a Pro Tool system that Tommy Lee bought that has no idea how to fucking use it, like himself. He has a studio at his home, and he's got an engineer. He has like Scott Humphrey and Chris Baseford, you know, running the shit. Tommy just knows how to, you know, and that's about it. Well, I mean, I'll give more credit than that, but so Steve went over to Tommy's to do some op stuff, either upgrade a PT system or troubleshoot some bullshit with Scott and Chris and all that stuff. And Steve, he's not there, and Tommy's not an asshole. So it's like anyone that kind of goes into his space or his home, like you're a bro, dude. You know, like it's not, you know, just get to work. Don't look at me. Just do what you need to do. No, and they got chummy, right? So they got talking music, and then Steve's like, "Oh, have you heard this deadmau5 dude?" And I was like, "No," right? And he would play him some of my weird shit, not my dance music. He would play him the stuff I did, like, you know, the B-roll shit, you know, that nobody really hears, that I just kind of do for fun, and I give it out to friends and stuff like that. And then for whatever reason, Tommy emails me. He's like, "Yo, your boy dude gave me some of your shit. It's fucking whack, and I love it." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, thanks. Like, that's neat. You know, if you want more, I can send you more. I don't know what you would do with it, but whatever, cool." Like, I just didn't see the connection, you know what I mean? But it was still pretty cool. Like, he sends me this email, and I was like, "Yeah, your boy Steve." And then I'm like, "Rad, cool." So like, every month or so, when I finish something cool, I'd send it off to him and get some feedback, and then the feedback would turn into like just dumb jokes or like just stupid chain emails of some meme, you know? And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, and then I get another email from him, and I'm living in the, I couldn't go to the States. I was banned.
Still.
Henceforth, yeah. So I'm in Niagara Falls, back at my mom's house, debating on moving to Toronto or not, and I get this email from Tommy. He's like, "Yo, I'm playing in Hamilton. You want to come?" And I'm like, "Yeah, threaten me with a good fucking time. Of course I'll come." So Hamilton's like, you know, 30-minute drive from Niagara Falls. So it's just like our local thing. He's doing some Motley Crue shit. So he's like, "Yeah, you know, here's Tony's number, email, just go and send him. He'll put you on the will call and whatever, and get you whatever something." I'm like, "Cool, yeah. Well, I mean, fuck it, I'll go. I've never been to a concert. I'll go happily sit, whatever ticket you fucking got me, and go fucking chill." So I get there, and message Tony guy on my fucking Fido, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come to gate da 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 da." I'm like, "Fuck Christ." So I'm like trying to like navigate my way around this whole like idea of being at a venue which I've never been, and then anyway, this fucking BT bleach tip douchebag looking dude fucking finds me and he's like, hey, you Joel, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, Tony. I'm like, oh, hey, man. So he walks me in through the loading bay and just takes me into like one of the locker rooms, and it's like just draped with like fucking hippie sheets, and it just reeks of Nag Champa. That's where I discovered that shit, by the way. The incense, right? And fucking Tommy's just sitting there, and I was like, oh, hey. And he's like, oh, dude. And he's like the nicest guy. Like he's that kind of dude that'll like, you know, like if a friend brings a friend to like a dinner event because he's a good friend of theirs, like he makes everybody feel welcome. You know what I mean? He doesn't just kind of have you around as a prop. You know what I mean? He'll be like, you know what I mean? He's a really, really cool dude. I'm really envious of that because I can't be like that. Like as on as he is when it comes to social awareness. You know, even though he's not aware he's doing that, he's just got some weird thing. But he's a really, really cool dude. And I was like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, man. He's like, yeah, rad, dude, you want a beer? I was like, yeah, cool. So I was like sitting around drinking. And the funny thing is that my first interaction with the guy really was, so he's like, it was a locker room, right? But they just draped over the pissers, basically, right? With some bullshit just to make it look a little homely or whatever. And he's got this sound system that he's got Figgy pushed in there for him so that he can like, you know, kind of party before the show, which I thought was absurd. And he had these contest winners like kind of shuffled into the room, and they're losing their fucking minds. I'm just kind of just like witnessing it at this point. I'm not like shivering in a corner. I'm just like, this is so bizarre. What am I doing here? How did this happen? You know, and while I'm in that thought, this is a younger girl came in, like I mean like 15, 14 maybe, and her, I would assume mother, right? And like kind of come in, so I'm like, oh, maybe she won a contest thing, and she had to come with her mom because fucking, you know, whatever. So they're all sitting around, and the mom is just kind of like me. We're just like. Tommy's just like partying. He's like, and so I'm sitting down, and there's this like, little table here. I'll never fucking forget this. And he just kept putting beers in front of me, like Coronas. So I'm like drinking a beer, and he's sitting beside me. He stands up and watches. He takes the empty bottle, stands up, and just whips it across the fucking room, hits the wall, it fucking explodes, and I was like.
Sveriges mest köpta bil. Utan vatten, inget liv. Men det smakar rätt tråkigt. Därför har vi tagit fram Air Up. För att göra vatten roligare, så du får i dig tillräckligt. Vi sätter smak på vattnet genom doft. Det enda som behövs är vatten i flaskan och en podd. Njut av goda smaker som kola, persika och citron. Då kommer du helt säkert vilja dricka mer vatten. Och då får kroppen vätskan den behöver. Så att du kan vara så kreativ, energisk och glad som du vill vara. Hitta din smak på air-up.se.
Like, oh my god, that's funny, but why would you do that, you know? And the 14-year-old girl is just like laughing her ass off. The mom's terrified. Glass is flying fucking everywhere. And he starts handing it, and he's like, do it. And I was like, bro, like, come on, man. That was like literally my very first rock and roll moment. And then he's like, just fucking whip it, man. It's like whipping these empty Corona bottles down the fucking hall. I'm thinking like, see, like anyone else, me especially, like in any other circumstance, I'd get arrested for this shit. You know what I mean? Or at the very least yelled at, you know, or something like that. But I was like, why is this fun? I mean, it felt great to do it, but I was like, this is so juvenile. This is so stupid. Like, I thought you were like an adult, you know, and I think legally you are, but why are we acting like children? I don't know. It's a good time. And there's actually a really fun. I got a photo from that night. I just have to show you this to get your reaction. This is the weirdest fucking photo. Because he's like, yeah, come on, we'll take a selfie. And I had like one of those shitty phones. It's very Googleable. This is the first picture. So this was that night. So this is in that dressing room. I'm like 18 years old.
Holy shit.
It's so weird.
I gotta get that.
Yeah.
Screen.
Just literally Google it. And this is Steve Duda. That's when we started our dating thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Look that up.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so I'm out there like just hanging out with this fucking rock star thinking, you know, like, okay, but you know what? It's cool. It's an experience. Cool. And I watched the show. I enjoyed it. And then he's like, well, what are you doing this week? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing this week? Like, I'm going back to my fucking normal ass fucking life and figuring out more music shit, you know? He's like, well, you should come to Montreal. So he's like, I'm like, well, I don't drive. First of all, I had to get dropped off here, and I gotta fucking, I don't know, I gotta figure out actually how I'm getting home. Actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, I think I had to borrow $50 from him. I had to ask him. I did. I said, dude, I don't want to be that guy, but can I borrow $50 so I can get the fucking GO train back to Niagara Falls? Because it's like 45 minutes away. It's gonna be like hundreds of dollars for a cab, but I can wait till morning and then get on the GO train and go back. And he's like, yeah, sure, dude. But when are you coming to Montreal? I'm like, well, because I can't afford a flight to Montreal if I can't afford a fucking train ride home. He's like, fucking come on the bus, you fucking idiot. And I was like, all right. So I got on the bus with him, his tour bus, and then we drove up there. And of course, it was all night just chatting about dumb shit. Nothing music, nothing, no business, no nothing. And I was like, okay, the guy's actually kind of fun to hang out with. He's like a fucking kid. He's a really cool dude. So I ended up like staying with him for like a week. So we do Montreal, we do Quebec, well, also Canada. He's like, I gotta go back to the States later, dude. And I'm like, okay, drop me off fucking home, you know. And actually, funniest story, my mother was like, so I lived off the highway. Pretty much, like, so once the highway kind of ends, you go left or right or straight, right? Straight goes into like a tiny suburb, left or right goes down this mean street called Montrose Road in Niagara Falls. And we lived in like a little bungalow thing in that subdivision. So Tommy had to come back through Niagara Falls to go over to the U.S. border to go to Buffalo, right? And I was like, dude, perfect. Can you drop me off? Like, just literally, like, just exit the highway, fucking, and then just drop me off, and I'm good. And he's like, oh yeah, easy, because we gotta take the QEW to go to the fucking Rainbow Bridge anyway. And I'm like, oh, this works out perfectly. Thank you. So I stayed on tour. We went to a few shows, and he drops me off, and my fucking mom sees this Motley Crue tour bus fucking pull up literally out front of the fucking house because it's right off the fucking highway. Hey, later, dude. Okay, bye. Get in the house. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, it's so weird. Because my mom obviously knows who Tommy Lee is. She's like, you were just with Tom. And I was like, yeah. I don't know, like showing her the picture. And I was like, yeah, we did whatever because he knows Steve. And then she was like, that is just, all right, okay. Get a job now. Or whatever. It was just the most bizarre thing. And of course we stayed in touch and we collaborated together. Me, Tommy Lee, Steve Duda, and our other mutual friend DJ Arrow, who works with Tommy the most. Like when Tommy does the DJ shows at Chester, his name is, but we call him Arrow. All started a group called WTF. We produced some tracks together. So WTF is me, Tommy Lee, Steve Duda, and Arrow, and we did some electro and stuff like that. Put that out. It did okay, and I still rock it from time to time. It's pretty fun. So every like few years we get together and fucking all go play a show together or some quiet thing or something just for funsies. But other than that, it's like mostly hangs.
Do you guys still do that?
Shows?
Yeah.
We almost did. Like we're Ireland. Yeah, we almost did a show in Ireland because we had Motley tour was like intersecting with the Mouse tour. So I was like, bro, we hung out, but I was like, we should do a show, but we would have to fly Arrow up, but Arrow had fucking tore his ankle up like real bad, like he had to get surgery and pins and shit, and walking up some stairs, something lame, and he couldn't make the flight. And we're like, yeah, all right. So we just ended up hanging out, and went to the show. But man, I love that dude though. He's such a good point of reference for me because, I mean, in my space, particularly EDM, there's just so much like main character shit that I cannot fucking stand. It's like I go to shows and I'm in and out. Like I'll literally show up 5 minutes before I have to go do the thing and then walk off, get in the car, and just get the fuck out. Generally, I from when I started, I've noticed, and probably still very prevalent. There's always like this like compound that goes on for hours before hours will go on. So there's like groups, and party this, party that, or not party, or just, you know what I mean, little cliques of other artists. And
I mean, I don't.
Who's the headliner, and why am I not playing the main stage? It's just like, shut up. So I don't deal with that, and neither does really Tom. He just kind of zens out, does his fucking thing, and gets on, gets off, and you know what I mean. And he just like, he's so blissfully happy, I guess. You know what I mean? So there's like really, he's the only guy that I think I can talk to about a lot of problems that I have with my mental health and touring and stuff like that, who gets it. You know what I mean? I can have the best psychotherapist in the fucking world, and I've done some therapy sessions here and there with like some big swinging dick MD fucking pro brain pickers, but I don't think they ever really get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they go, I can see that, I can sort of understand it, but this dude's fucking lived it. You know what I mean? So he gets it. So he doesn't need to have a fucking PhD to tell me, yeah, that's annoying, you know, or like that's cool. You know, he's like, he's been through it, he's done with it, and he needs nothing from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I need nothing from him. There's no parasitic shit between the two of us.
In that aspect, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. You know, so it's like,
it's nice to know somebody that doesn't want something from you.
It really is. And it's good.
You
like,
don't want
everybody
anything
needs
from
that one or two. If that's all you can get, cool. That's all you need. You know what I mean? People in your life where there's just a symbiotic needlessness from both sides. You know what I mean? Where it's just like,
is there a single best piece of advice maybe that sticks out in your head from him that you've really, you know,
from him?
that you really
Don't sweat the petty pet. No, what is it? Don't sweat the petty, pet the sweaty, or something. He always says. What is it? Oh my god, why do I forget it? But he says it all the time. It's like, shut up. Don't sweat the petty, pet the sweaty, or something. I think it's a little more clever than that, but he says something like that, and I'm like, dude, that is just so on brand.
De små stunderna som räknas. Smak för livet. Utan statens anställda, ingen föräldraledighet. Sluta dumsnåla med statens anställda.
Would you consider him kind of like a mentor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And whether he knows it or not doesn't even fucking matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool too, because like I said, I think he just stopped developing after like 13 or something like that. No, for real. Like he is just he's like a pet, sort of. Like, but he's smart in certain areas, just not mine. And so when he comes to me with like a gadget, oh, my favorite Tommyism is red cameras.
Yeah.
So I go out and I'm doing a music video out in LA, and we wanted the shit, right? And this is like a long time ago, right? So Dana White and all the UFC guys kind of pitched in for this video because we tied in a lot of UFC kind of themery around it. So it was a big deal. It was a huge production. It was like easily 7-figure fucking thing, right? And so part of that was they got the bomb squad from fucking Red to come in and bring us all this thing. And then we looked at like, we were all looking over the P&L and costs and everything and stuff like that. And it turned out the operating and rental cost of one of those Red cameras was like so insane that it actually made more sense to buy them. So I bought one and then I hired an op to come and fucking do that, right? So that's my Red camera now. So I'm like, holy shit, I got a fucking Red camera. I gotta shoot all the crazy shit, right? So, you know, because I get into these hobbies, you know what I mean? And sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. But when I get into a hobby, I go like fucking full tilt, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you like wave surfing? Yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna buy a 25-footer fucking Tiga fucking wave ripper thing. And it was like, wow, you really like that shit, eh? Well, yeah, for now, you know, like, so I'm like that guy, right? So I was really into videography and cinematography and photography and all that shit. So I get this Red. And I'm showing, okay, of course, whenever one of us gets something Red, we're on the phone. Right? Like, hey, buddy, check this out, check this out. He's like, oh, dope, who's like one of those fucking Red cameras? I'm like, yeah, dude, shoots fucking like 4K, like 8K, like 120 frames a second. And he's like, oh, rad, cool. And then a week later, he'll message me. He's like, dude, I'm like, what? And he's like, I just got this, like, the GoPro, the new GoPro, it does 4K. I'm like, yeah, but, and he's like, yeah, no, but it's the same as your fucking Red, dude, but it's like this big. I'm like, yeah, and he goes, dude, it's 4K, it says right on it. And I'm like, it is, but it's not, Tommy, it's not. He's like, I don't see the fucking difference. I'm like, oh my god, fuck, bro, I love you, shut the fuck up. It's 4K.
So you never really got into the party.
No.
When it comes to the
No.
festivals and stuff.
No, I'm too socially awkward for that. Actually, one of my worst memories was like trying to be that for like half a second. There's a guy I really like. His name is Jeff. He goes by the name Excision. He does like drum and bass and dubstep, like the really like wook shit. Basically, that's what he's killing it. He's killing it. He always has. And he would be on tour with me. He was actually my opener for like a little bit on a deadmau5 thing, and he's just a really cool dude, chill, easy to work with, and now he's just like this. Fuck, I couldn't afford him if I wanted to. He's just killing it, and I remember I hadn't seen him in like 5 years or something like that, and it was like, again, it was at one of these like artist compound things. He had his own little trailer thing, and then people just tend to kind of just pop by trailers of people they know or whatever, and like, hey bro. It was like fucking 5 years deep, and I was just already a little hungover, and I don't know, I don't know if this is even true or not, because I don't really remember it, but I opened up the fucking door, and Jeff was in there with like a whole bunch of like, you know, hangers-outers. You know, probably some of them actually his friends, but just like, whatever, you know, it was like a whole big party thing. And then when I came in, I went, yeah. Or I don't remember how it went down, but I must have made noise or something like that. I wasn't being rude or anything, but it was just like everyone's drinks just silence. Radio, yeah, and everyone's looking at me like, what are you doing in here kind of vibe. You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to talk to Jeff, but everybody's watching deadmau5 talk to Excision. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck. Hey, like, I don't even know what to fucking say, right? Like, cause now, like, I'm being auditioned. You know what I mean? It was just really weird. And I was like, hey, man. He's like, hey. And I went, okay, good to see you, man. And I just kind of walked out. You know what I mean? Because it was just so weird, you know? It's like, I was like, fuck, I'm never doing this again. Unless I truly know the guy. Like, there's like, I count on one hand how many DJs or EDM dudes that I actually really like to just hang out with. Shoot the shit.
Who is somebody you really enjoy?
Eric Prince.
I love that dude.
He is great. He's fucking amazing. He's so chill. He's just so easygoing. He's a pain in the ass to work with, don't get me wrong, but like in terms of like, if you want to do a show with him, like, fuck God, it's just like pulling teeth with this guy, because he's as lazy as me when it comes to collaborations and putting in effort on a project that you're not really going to be permanently invested in anyway, but it's going to be a one-time thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, bless him for that. Like, I'd be the same too. But just, like, as a dude to go have a dinner with and just talk about how's the farm, you know what I mean? How's fucking Sweden? What's new? You know what I mean? Then that's my dude. I love him. Wolfgang Gardner, another really cool dude. Like, and it's all the older dudes, cause they're just over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so what are you working on? Like musically, you know what I mean? Like, what's your next move? You think I want to talk about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like so vested in this, especially in like this kind of area of fucking music that I don't even like anyway. And now you want to know like what my big Grammy aspirations are this year? Like, fuck off, dude. Like,
Man, I find that so odd that you're not even you don't really like EDM